Welcome to Hoops Junction. NBA Finals finally over. Golden State Warriors defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5. I would say not grueling games. The last two were pretty intense, but five good games. I would say the last three are good. Even when Cleveland blew Golden State out, it was like amazing to watch Cleveland go off or whatever. This last game was pretty good as well because J.R. Smith was going off. He had a bunch of shots or whatever, but Warriors are the champions, 129 to 120. First things first, tip our caps to the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3 straight NBA Finals. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, they try to play that game that they had in Game 4, but unfortunately only LeBron was able to come up, and even with 41 points, he was minus 12 in the plus-minus, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I guess because he had a triple-double. No, he almost had a triple-double. He had 41 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. The fact that I guess he had 3 turnovers and went 2 for 5 from 3. So LeBron took 30 shots. And I felt like during the series, he should have took a lot more shots because they almost got swept. And part of that was because he would get his triple-double early, like the first 3 quarters. And then like the fourth quarter, he kind of would stop attacking the basket. He would kind of get less aggressive. Even in this game, when the Cavs were down like 20, almost 20, 17 points, he kind of got less aggressive. Took a timeout. Tyronn Lue probably yelled at him. Got back in the game. Started making plays. Started getting in the paint. Started making great passes to J.R. Smith. Like, LeBron is like one of the best players. He's like an enigma. He's like sometimes you could get it from him 100% all times. Like go. And then sometimes it's just like he kind of defers like, okay, these guys got to go in or this guy's got to go in. I'm not going to really attack. I'm not going to attack. And I understand because he has to guard the best player. He has to initiate the offense. He has to do a lot. But here's the thing. It's up to the coaches like Tyronn Lue to make it where Kyrie Irving could bring up the ball. Like LeBron James doesn't have to keep bringing up the ball. They make it where J.R. Smith could bring up the ball. Let LeBron walk up the court. Let him catch his wind. Like, LeBron doesn't necessarily need to get caught up in the pick and rolls all the time, setting it up. He needs to get in the elbow, get some touches off ball where he doesn't have to bring it up. We all know you can handle the ball. Like, there's no reason for Tyronn Lue to keep making him bring up the ball, initiate the offense, then try to get back on defense when the shot gets missed. It's too much. Then he has the offensive rebound. He has to do a lot, but part of that is just the coaches in Cleveland aren't doing him any favors. If you ever look at like from Jordan to Kobe to Shaq, like all these guys, they never like consistently brought up the ball like LeBron James. Like you got to give LeBron a ton of credit because not only does he have to do like a ton of the workload, but he also has to like bring up the ball. He has to initiate what's Kyrie Irving there for? He's the point guard. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of weird, and it's kind of what's worse is like Rick Barry said this several years ago when they lost to Dallas, when LeBron lost to Dallas in Miami. He said watching him play, you could tell like a lot of the basics of the game he mastered later in life. So when he started maturing and winning championships, there's like a lot of basic stuff that he didn't necessarily need to do, and it's kind of hard for Tyronn Lue to coach LeBron. Because that's how LeBron has been playing his entire career, which is the AAU, being told that he's great, being the chosen one, etc., etc. So there's certain things that like a coach like Tyronn Lue can't tell LeBron. Like you can't tell him like you need to be off ball, like don't touch the ball when we're coming up. Kyrie, you need to initiate the offense. Like sometimes it's just like LeBron just wants to initiate the offense and get guys going. Where really, to me, he's more dangerous when he's going. When he's going, he's getting to the line. He gets to the basket, etc., etc. He draws the double team even more. Like if you watch in the Game 5 when he was in the post against Klay Thompson, nobody was doubling him because they were just like, "Go ahead, we'll live with it. We'll live with it." Even down the stretch when he's getting his garbage points, we'll live with it because it took him too long to get going. He wasn't like that much of a threat because he has so many duties on the team, and it's crazy. LeBron has so many duties on the team with 3 All-Stars. He's an All-Star. Kevin Love's an All-Star. Kyrie Irving's an All-Star. J.R. Smith is former 6th Man of the Year. You can't lift any weight off this man's shoulders. Like he has to bring up the ball, score the ball, rebound the ball, get assists. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, the way, like, he was right about them being top heavy. But even if they, like, did a trade to bring in somebody like a Melo or something, LeBron would still have those responsibilities. And him being up there in age more and more, he needs to have less of those responsibilities. You watch Kobe in his career, he started getting less and less of the responsibilities. He started staying in the post later in his career, which helped extend his career. So, LeBron, hats off to LeBron James. You know, in terms of him being the best player ever or whatever, 3 and 5 speaks for itself. I mean, to me, you could say he's like one of the best talents ever. Like, you've never seen a man 6'8" handle, could shoot sometimes. I'm saying sporadically he could shoot. Drive to the basket, make crazy passes like magic. He's like a creative player. But in terms of being the best ever, I think that we got to take him out of that conversation. Let's look at the box score. Tristan Thompson had a great game. He had 15 points. He went 6 for 8 from the field. I felt like he should have played more minutes. He should have played a lot more minutes. He had 8 rebounds. He had 3 assists. I guess the Cavs were trying to catch up or whatever the case is, but, you know, at the end of the day, his energy was what got them the lead early in the first half. Like, they had an 8-point lead. His energy, getting to the basket, getting to the cup, attacking Zaza Pachulia, getting people foul trouble. His energy was key. You know, J.R. Smith, 9 for 11, 7 for 8 from 3. He had 25 points. J.R. came to play. He came to ball out, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just like, you know, I have all these troubles at home. I'm going to leave it on the court. And he played. He had Golden State shook for a lot of plays, man. Even when Golden State went up 17, J.R. Smith hit back-to-back threes to cut it down to 11 at the half. So that was huge. That was huge. Otherwise, they lose by 20. You know, here's the thing. I'm gonna say one guy for last. I'm gonna say one guy for last. Kyrie Irving, 26 points. He had 6 assists. He had 4 turnovers, and some of those turnovers were key. They led to the break. Kyrie, he's a great one-on-one player. He has like some of the best handles. He can get to the cup however you want. But at the end of the day, you can see the mantra of Steve Kerr. Let him attack the basket. Let him dribble himself out. Let him dribble the air out of the basketball. Those shots are going to get tougher. Down the stretch, he's not going to be able to attack. And you can see down the stretch, he started blowing finishes. He went 9 for 22 from the field, and a lot of those were at the cup because Klay Thompson, a lengthy defender, was on him. So that being said, Cleveland, if they come back to the finals next year, they got to do some things where Kyrie's getting off ball. They got to get Kyrie off ball, or they got to make him do some more pick and rolls. And this is the thing about when people say like, oh well, Curry's better than this person, or Kyrie's better than that person, etc., etc. To me, if I'm a coach, I want Stephen Curry. Now, if I'm on the playground, I want Kyrie Irving, because it's 2 different games. Like, Kyrie doesn't understand sometimes the game within the game, which is, yeah, you're scoring, but there's some times where you got to get other guys going. You know what I'm saying? 6 assists with your handles is not enough. You know, LeBron should not be averaging more assists than Kyrie Irving, in my opinion. You're the point guard. Point guards naturally should average more assists. And that's the whole function of LeBron James, carrying the ball all the time. I mean, yeah, bringing up the ball, etc., etc. So, like, Kyrie is just as dangerous off the bounce and passes like as LeBron. So, I think he should work on his passing game and just understand the game within the game. So, certain times you don't need to dribble the ball like that, like all the time. It's a finals game. You gotta get other guys going. You gotta get off ball. You gotta set screens. That's something else. Kyrie doesn't set like a ton of screens for other people. That's why he has to get better. Cleveland's bench, non-existent. 7 points. 7 points. Korver had a 3, 1 for 3. He's out of there. They brought him in to shoot threes. He only made 1 this game. Ridiculous. Richard Jefferson had 4 points, 1 for 3 as well. The last guy I'm saving on this list, because I felt like he sunk the Cavaliers, Kevin Love. Number one, he sunk them with the fact that he couldn't get back on defense when they were running the break the first 3 games. The first 3 games, Golden State ran Kevin Love by. Kevin Love was like that flat tire on the car, and he did not help them at all with his transition defense. The transition defense was porous. He couldn't guard Kevin Durant. He could barely guard Draymond Green. He just couldn't keep up with anybody. And he compounded that with the fact that he never really got going in the series. Besides Game 4, he was just awful. In Game 5, he only had 6 points. You know, he had 10 rebounds, which is a plus. But other than that, I mean, you're a part of the big three, supposedly. Why are you playing like this? Sometimes this makes you wish, kind of. Like, I know Cavs did get a ring last year, which was very, very fluky. But let's just say the Cleveland Cavaliers don't make the trade for Wiggins for Kevin Love. And Wiggins gets to develop with LeBron James. Can you imagine Kyrie, Wiggins, LeBron, and then you trade Bennett for another piece, like a backup point guard or something like? Could you imagine that? I think even if the Cats had like Ricky Rubio, like I think that would like be a plus, but because he played better, Ricky Rubio would play better than Darren Williams. So at the end of the day, it's just so odd, like how he just doesn't step up at times. Game 4, he stepped up, but I mean it was just one game. Like what happened to the first 3 games? You know what I'm saying? So he was like he couldn't defend. Then when he couldn't defend, they took him out of the game because, you know, he would get foul trouble. And part of that was be like, okay, I'm sitting on the bench, or they're not throwing me the ball in the post, which they tried to do at the end of this game, but it was too late. Like, they should have been doing that the entire series. Kevin Love, Cavs, they have to trade him, or they have to find a better way to hide. I would trade him. I would trade him and try to get something for him. If they could trade him for Paul George and put LeBron at the 4, I mean, that's way better than what they got. Trade him for Melo, whatever the case is. Because Melo, at least, he would still get you to 10 rebounds, but he's going to give you 15 to 20 points because he's just going to be a spot-up shooter. People will say, well, oh, it's Kevin Love's fault, or it's LeBron's fault, Kyrie's fault. Because, you know, Kevin Love doesn't call for the ball. He doesn't get deep post position. LeBron James does way better in the post than Kevin Love. And Kevin Love is a post player. In Minnesota, he was a beast. It was a game in New York. He had 30 points, 30 rebounds. You think that guy don't know how to get in the post? But he's just, the desire isn't there. It's not there. And Cavs shot great tonight. 53% from the field, 45.8% from the 3, which is huge. That kept them in the game. That was scary for the Golden State Warriors to think like, man, if they keep getting these threes, we're going back to Cleveland. On to the winning team. Draymond Green, 10 points, 3 for 10, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. This guy's like a Swiss Army knife. But the best thing about Draymond, he stayed out of trouble. He was even breaking up fights between J.R. Smith and, what is his name, David West and Tristan Thompson. That was great. Zaza Pachulia, 0 points. They need to trade him. They need to see if they could get another guy that's like energetic. I know they like his IQ. To me, like, he's not a great passer. He's not a great finisher. Maybe they could draft a big in the what is it called, in the draft or whatever. But he's awful. He's awful as hell. Klay Thompson, 11 points. He's been struggling the entire series. But you know what? That's okay, because he had to guard Kyrie Irving, who was going off every other night, dropping 40, 38. People were saying like he's been out playing Steph, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, Klay had a huge thing. He had a huge task on his hands, and he did a great job. David West, 4 points. I felt like David brought a lot of energy with those 3 little rebounds. A lot of energy. He was just like pumped, and I felt like when the Cavs were hitting, he hit back. You know, with that jump ball, with loose ball foul, whatever, with Kyrie Irving, that jump ball. He hit back. He was just like, yeah, you ain't going to be doing this. I'm a grown man. Which could have cost them the game, but I just like the energy because they were up 15. He didn't need to get attacked. But then that ushered Tristan Thompson to get attacked and J.R. Smith to get attacked, and they got a shot out of it. So it was pretty good. Iguodala, 20 points off the bench. What more can you say about that guy? That guy's a professional. He's great, man. He took a lot of threes I wasn't happy with, but he went 2 for 7, 9 for 14 from the field. I love the fact that he did not take the bait that Cleveland was trying to throw down the stretch, which was they would give him open threes, and he would just, he would look at it, and he would drive to the cup and get a dunk or get a layup. That's perfect. That's because Cleveland was trying not to guard Stephen. They were trying to guard Stephen Curry, Durant, and Thompson, and leave Draymond Green and Iguodala open and everybody else and their mother open. They didn't care about anybody else but those guys, and I felt like they didn't take the bait. Patrick McCaw, he played big minutes to me. He helped Klay Thompson take a rest. and he picked up on the defensive end. I felt like he did a good job on Kyrie Irving, even though they gave like a lot of bogus calls. He did a great job. Now moving on to the heavy hitters. Stephen Curry, 34 points, 10 assists, 10 for 20 from the field, 12 for 15 from the shooting from the free throw line. He had a complete game. He had 4 turnovers, which is to be expected with Curry. Sometimes he just gets a lot of turnovers, but at the same time, LeBron had 3, Kyrie had 4. So all the guys dribbling the ball had a lot of turnovers. It was like a weird game in that regard, or whatever the case is. But he played a great, solid game. I felt like his 3-ball wasn't going, so what he do? Get to the cup. Everybody's saying Kyrie's a great finisher. Like, Curry can't finish it. He finally finished. I felt like down the stretch, though, he was showboating. Like, when he hit that 3 in Kyrie's face, he was like, that's for old and that's for new. And he was just like, when they got the rebound down the stretch, he started pumping his fist. I understand, but you got to finish the game. You know what I'm saying? Finish it out. Respect your opponent. One of my colleagues said that nobody shook hands with Curry because he was showboating or whatever the case. So, guys don't like the guy, man. But you don't have to like him. You got to respect him. The guy's a 2-time champion, 2-time NBA MVP. You gotta respect him. On to the man of the hour, Kevin Durant. 39 points, 14 for 20 from the field, 14 for 20 from the field, 14 for 20 from the field. I'm telling you, like, he's so efficient this year, it makes no sense. He had 7 rebounds, he had 5 assists, and I feel like that was the difference for the Golden State Warriors, which was Kevin Durant, of course, knocking down shots and everything like that, but here's what the keys were for me for Cleveland to even win more games or extend the series. They had to stop playing one-on-one basketball, and they had to average about 25 to 30 assists. And they failed to do so. They only averaged 22 assists. So that's just the point. That's just the difference between the two teams. One team is an ISO act. One team is like they have 2 players that could get theirs, and they will try to get their teammates involved, but their teammates aren't up to par. They're just going to get theirs, the hell with everything, the hell with the game plan. Then you got another team that has 3 guys, or you have 4 guys that could possibly get theirs. Draymond Green's a possible. He can get his sometimes. But everybody is in the act. Like, you got guys like Patrick McCaw on a pick and roll, getting the ball to him, and LeBron's trying to chase him down. He's getting layups. These little plays being made, everybody's a threat on the court. Andre Iguodala's a threat. Zaza Pachulia was like the only guy that wasn't a threat. But these little plays, Sean Livingston, everybody's a threat because you have Kevin Durant unselfish, Stephen Curry unselfish, Klay Thompson is unselfish as well, especially on the defensive end where he's working like hell to get Kyrie slowed down. So that's the difference between the two teams. And that's why the Warriors basically dominated, because every game they dominated, they made sure they had a lot of assists and everybody just touched the ball. Like, that's a huge difference. And here's the thing, Cleveland shot better than the Warriors overall, except for the free throw line. So that just goes to show you a complete team, how it's set up. And like, people could say, well, they have 4 All-Stars or whatever the case is, but the Los Angeles Lakers, we have 4 All-Stars. We had Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant. We lost to the Detroit Pistons in 5. So that doesn't mean anything. Now you can say like, oh, they're in their prime, etc. That's even crazier, because in Miami, when LeBron lost his championship to the Dallas Mavericks, he had Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, all basically in their prime. And, they couldn't find that medium to be unselfish to the following year. So, hats off to the Golden State Warriors. They made some good adjustments, especially when they're trapping Stephen Curry. But game ball, everything goes to KD, man. You got to respect that, man. He averages 30 for the finals. He's the first person to do that since, like, Shaquille O'Neal, beast mode. You got to love it, you know what I'm saying, like, in terms of that. And down the Game 3 and Game 5 were good games. And you could say, if you're a Cleveland fan, Game 4 was a good game. Like, the beginning of the series was like out of hand. It was out of hand. But down the stretch, we finally got to see some good basketball. You got to see your favorite stars play. I know the Raiders are through the roof. next year, teams are gonna try to come back and beat this team. I think Golden State Warriors are going to move some pieces. They're gonna get rid of Jaja. They're gonna definitely try to bolster their bench. JaVale McGee, they might get rid of him, maybe. Ian Clark didn't play, so that was whatever. So teams have a lot to think about when it comes to this Warriors team, because these guys are all in their prime, and Kevin Durant already said that he's gonna take less money so they can keep this team together. And see, here's the difference between certain guys. Guys will blow up a team. Like Oklahoma City Thunder gotta be kicking themselves. We blew up a team with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and Kevin Durant because we didn't want to play James Harden extra $4 million for the length of his contract. Now they're looking at themselves like, we gotta be the dumbest of the dumbest. Because without if they sign James Harden, there is no Golden State Warriors. Period. Because OKC was Golden State before Golden State. So, 2012 they went to the finals. Everybody's like, okay, they're gonna be right back. And then they don't sign the right guys and $4 million. Now look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is willing to take $4 million less, so they could re-sign Curry when Klay Thompson deal is up. They could re-sign him, and Draymond Green is already locked in or whatever. So he's willing to take $4 million less, so they could do more with the team. And he's gonna make that $4 million back with Nike commercials. You saw after the game, they already had a commercial with Kevin Durant when they were talking about he's weak for this, that, and the third. And Nike was like, debate this. So at the end of the day, like, these guys make money on multiple platforms. So like when people are like, well, this guy's the man, he don't want to take less money, he want to go somewhere when he want to be the man. Last time I checked, you're not a champion. You don't know what's in the body of these guys. The more rings you get and accolades you get, that's gonna draw the money towards you. See what I'm saying? Like, if you respect the game and you love the game's gonna reward you. And I feel like a lot of people miss that. They be like, oh no, take the money. But a lot of guys that sacrifice, they're the ones that's winning right now. And I hate that KD had to team up, whatever the case is. But this is what the league has become. Like, we just have to accept it. These guys call each other in the off season. They make plans together. It's just very odd. Like, but it is what it is, man. But KD's gonna take $4 million less, and Cavs, if they want to proceed, they're gonna have to move Kevin Love. They're gonna have to move him, get Melo, and get another piece, or try to get Paul George to come there for less money. But see, when you bring Paul George in, Paul George is just like Kyrie Irving. He's a volume shooter. He's a great defender at times, but it's just like, okay, so it's gonna be like Paul George and LeBron are like Scottie and Pippen. Scottie Pippen, Michael and Scottie. Is that what it's gonna be? Because what happens to Kyrie? Is Kyrie gonna have to take a backseat? So I don't think they should complicate things more than it already is in terms of that. I think they just need to move Love. They need to get a better bench. As far as the Warriors, hats off to them. I had them in 6. They proved me wrong. They won it in 5. NBA season's over. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Peace.